Okay, I hope that is much better. I've adjusted this so many times, but I hope you can see me, you can hear me, everything's good. I don't have much time, but I really wanted to record this because it's been on my mind since this morning. And it's just one of those things where I've been reflecting a lot. I feel like ever since I started deconstructing a lot of things, it's so much easier and natural for me to deconstruct other things without fear, without worrying that I don't know, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's really scary to question your beliefs, question your environment. It can be intimidating because you can open a can of worms, and sometimes it feels like once you open that can of worms, you don't know where to stop. But the thing that I was really reflecting on today is mainly about race. And this is quite a complicated topic, but I'm hoping that this can be kind of like the beginning of a discussion that I can later on build on. But essentially, I'm so bothered by how there's two reasons for this. There's two reasons for the thing that I'm about to say. Excuse my all over the placeness. I'd like to remind you that I have ADHD. So as much as I have like great complex ideas and opinions, sometimes wording them can take a bit of time for me to get to that point. So I do apologize. But number one, the way that society has been created, and especially how things have been recently, by recently I mean like in the last few years, in the last few decades, the way that society is built on division and dividing people, and in groups and out groups, I really hate, for me personally, I really hate what that's done for me in terms of being able to develop relationships and connections. By relationships, I mean just any interaction, any, like literally any. I don't mean like romantic relationship, I just mean any, with people that don't look like me. And even sometimes with people that look like me in terms of skin tone, but they are different to me in different ways. And I think that social media has had a massive role to play in this issue. But like the thing that I was mainly thinking about today was how the division, the racism, the classism that's been created, but in particular the racism in this particular instance that's been created between different groups, and the racism that I experience as a black woman, I really hate how that has closed me off to being able to interact with different kinds of people, whether that's because I myself am worried about how people will treat me, or on a bigger level, how it's affected how somebody will perceive me without me doing anything. As in, racism, simply put, has meant that I, as a human being in this life, and many other people like me, will never be able to have the full human experience of being able to openly interact with just anybody. Sorry, I got interrupted. But yeah, simply put, racism has meant that the full human experience of being able to interact with lots of different kinds of people that have similarities to you, differences to you, has been so limited because of racism. As in, somebody who, if we were to remove the racism that's been designed in society, if we were to remove that, somebody could look at somebody like me, and whether they want to have an interaction, or it could be in the workplace, it could be friendship, it could be a relationship, somebody won't have the chance to experience the full spectrum of interacting with different people because of racism. And we can get into a whole conversation about the fact that lack of education, or a personal choice, like free will choosing to be racist, is what results in this. We can definitely have that conversation 100%. But I guess for me, the thing that I was thinking about was, I saw a video today. I'm always watching videos as background sound when I'm like cleaning, etc. Keeps me productive as a girl with executive dysfunction. But this video that came up for me, I was so intrigued and I loved it so much. And it was from a channel, like a really big channel that I'd never seen before, that the people creating the content are from a different country. And the people from that country, there are people like that live where I live, but I'm not gonna be specific because I don't need to be. I don't need to specify who I'm talking about, because I think for each different people there'll be kinds of people that we can all think of that we have this kind of relationship with. But the people from this particular place where I live, a lot of them are very racist towards black people. And I grew up with some of the people from this particular place, and some of them I got on with really well. We were great friends. But today I can't really imagine being friends with them because I now realise the racial barriers. I now realise how a huge amount of people from this particular place view black people. As in, I came to a realisation in my adulthood that despite having a good friendship with somebody, despite having a particular connection with them through work, through uni, through school, that person can still turn around and one day be like, I don't actually respect you, like I don't actually like you because you're black, and there would be nothing that I could have had done to prevent that. And I guess for me, like I just kind of deeped how the content from this particular group, I don't really get content from those people from like my general algorithms, apart from maybe like makeup related stuff, of which I get everybody under the sun with makeup and like fashion videos naturally. But in terms of certain content, like while I was really enjoying this, there was a thought that popped into my head where I was like, wow, like I would love to meet these people in person. I wish they had like a show or like da da da. Like I just thought they were so cool, the show that I was watching. And then I thought to myself, what if I was to like interact with them? What if I was to like speak to them, but like, I really like your content, blah blah, and then I was to realise that they're racist. And I don't mean to come off like I assume that everybody is racist. I don't. Even if there's a particular majority group that I consistently have racist experiences with, I never want to assume anything. But I also am at a point in my adult life where I'm constantly a little bit on edge, and I'm constantly a little bit worried about the fact that no matter what I do, no matter what kind of interaction I have with somebody, they may have a perception of me that I've not contributed to. Before somebody knows my name, before somebody speaks to me, before somebody even knows of my existence, there's a person that just hates me simply because I'm black. And for me, I guess what that made me think about is, for one, in an attempt to then protect myself, I may find myself not being open to be in certain spaces because of personal experiences, or because of experiences that other people in my life have had, because of fear, because of wanting to protect myself. And I just kind of got into this thing, I was just thinking about it as I was cleaning, and I thought, wow, like there are so many cool people who I won't be able to really interact with because either they are racist, either they are genuinely just racist, or their particular group has a bad history of being very racist. And I also say this because I and other people that I know have had experiences where, you know someone really well and you deem them as friend or colleague, and then one day they say something that's racist about black people, and then you're shocked, and then they're like, yeah, but you're not, like, you don't count in that. And that is something that I think a lot of people have had to deal with, and it makes you so wary of the people that you interact with, and it makes you so on edge, because it's like, damn, like this person doesn't even realize that just by saying, oh well, not you, like you don't count, how problematic that is, and how you will now view them in a completely different light, because it's like, damn, like you're racist, that person who you don't even know, but you're saying, well, I know you, you're different. And there are so many groups of people, unfortunately, that I've realized have this mindset, where they either will never, even if they have positive even if you've done anything wrong, they will never want to interact with you. And there are people who will interact with you, but they're still racist. There are people who go and marry and have children with black people, and they are racist, and that's crazy. But my point is, the human experience in an ideal world would mean that you have the freedom to meet new people and to explore different experiences, and experience other people's cultures in a really positive way, and be able to celebrate each other's differences. Like, for example, I have this thing with accents. I love so many different accents, and I love so many different things about different people's cultures. And when I like something, I'm always going to say it. But there's been so many times where I say that I like something from a person's culture, and then somebody is quick to remind me, they don't like black people, right? They don't respect black people, right? And that always like low-key breaks my heart, because for me, especially as a neurodivergent person, I don't see the world in hierarchies. I don't place people in hierarchies the way that many neurotypical people do. So for me, when I see something that I like in somebody, or I've always been the kind of person who I will be friends with all kinds of people, and that will like surprise certain people. And sometimes I will have people, that's kind of a different conversation, but I will have people be like, but why? But why? And for me, it's like, I don't need a why, because if I like something, I like something. If I like someone, I like someone. But realizing for me that if I see somebody that I'm not having an interaction with, but I see them from afar, whether that's in a show or in interacting with somebody else, and I'm like, oh, they seem like a cool person. There's always going to be that voice in my head that's like, but you need to be careful. You don't know if they would, how they're acting right now, how they're presenting in that particular situation, you don't know that they would give you the same energy. And then that for me is like, okay, for my own protection, maybe I should be a bit more closed off. Maybe I should be careful who I allow myself to like interact with. And I think that is so sad. I think that is so heartbreaking that that's the kind of world that we live in, where we won't be able to have that full human experience. I can see them running out of storage, so I'm going to wrap this up. But I hate that. I really hate that. I wish the world was different. You would think in a world where we're more connected, we would be more able to connect with lots of different people without certain barriers. And I hate that also it feels very restricted to time. In childhood, you find yourself being able to connect with lots of different people of different backgrounds, and then you go to adulthood and then you have to close yourself off because you're now scared, or even sometimes on the flip side, the other person, they now are like ill, like they don't want to interact with people that they back in the day would never have perceived that way. In summary, I wish we lived in a world where our judgment of people, our perception of people was based on their character and their choices. And even then, there's nuance, but I wish we lived in a world where there was that, instead of people see your race, your religion, your whatever, and they immediately are like they don't want to get near you type of thing. And even for me, there are people that I'm very wary of because of how I've been mistreated or how I know a lot of them perceive me, but I still try my best to not close myself off. I will never return that same energy because I don't want to. It doesn't benefit me. I'll never return the energy they give me to them. I will never make them feel the way that they made me feel because I don't want to. I have no desire to. I just wish things were different. But yeah, that's a summary of everything I wanted to say. I want to make more videos like this where I'm like, I think of something and I record it immediately, instead of like sometimes I wait and then it never gets recorded and then I procrastinate. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I would love to know your thoughts on this conversation. I will try and upload some of this onto my TikTok so we can keep the convo going. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.